Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into the plot of a thriller that is just wow. It's T.J. Newman's Falling, and it kicks off with a question that, honestly, has no right answer.
So, if you were in the pilot's seat, what would you do? This is the question the entire book hangs on. Our hero, Captain Bill Hoffman, is faced with this totally impossible choice. And get this, it happens just minutes after he takes off on what's supposed to be a totally routine flight from LA to New York.
And here it is. The ultimatum is just brutal. On one hand, you crash the plane, killing every single one of the 149 people on board. On the other, you have to watch as your entire family is executed live right in front of you. There is no third option, no way out. Just that.
An impossible choice. So, yeah, how on earth did things get this bad, this fast? Well, to really get the full weight of what Bill is facing, we need to jump back a few hours, to that very same morning. And you'll see, it all starts in a place that feels completely normal.
Yeah, picture this. It's a Saturday morning. You can smell the fresh-cut grass, you can hear kids playing. It's just normal. We meet the Hoffman family in their quiet suburban home, and it's this picture of total domestic peace. You've got Bill, his wife Carrie, their son Scott, and a baby, Elise. It's so ordinary, which is exactly what makes what happens next so absolutely jarring.
And just like that peace is completely shattered. There's this internet guy, a man named Sam, that Carrie just let into the house to fix the Wi-Fi or whatever. Well, he turns around and suddenly he's got a gun. He reveals his true, terrifying purpose and takes Carrie and her 2 kids hostage. And the worst part? This is happening right as Bill is walking out the door to go to the airport. He has no idea about the nightmare that's just started in his own home.
A family held hostage. And that's it. The stage is set. Bill is heading to the airport, about to fly a plane clear across the country. And a war is about to break out on 2 fronts. One is unfolding in that quiet house, and the other is about to start at 35,000 feet in the air.
So Bill's on the plane. He's in the cockpit. And then he gets an email. He opens it, and the picture on the screen, it's his family. They're in his living room, held at gunpoint, and they're all wearing suicide vests. Can you even imagine? His entire world just completely implodes in that one single instant.
And then another message pops up. It's a simple, chilling command. Put on your headphones. And right after, a FaceTime call comes through. It connects him directly to the terrorist in his house. This is where the real psychological torture begins. He's got this guy's voice in his ear and a live feed of his terrified family right there in front of him. Okay, but this is where things start to turn. The fight back begins, but it's not from Bill in the cockpit. It's out in the cabin. There's the senior flight attendant. Her name is Jo, and she just gets this gut feeling that something is seriously, dangerously wrong with her captain, and she trusts that instinct. She secretly sends a text to her nephew, who just so happens to be an FBI agent. Talk about luck, right?
2 fronts, 1 war. And you know that one little text message? It completely ignites this desperate race against time back on the ground. It's the first real link between the 2 fronts of this war. So now the battle isn't just about what's happening in the plane. It's also this frantic search for a family that's been taken hostage. So this is where we meet Joe's nephew, Agent Theo Baldwin. And he is basically pleading with his superiors, who are, of course, super skeptical. He has to convince them that this wild, unbelievable threat is 100% real and that they have to act like right now. But all he has to go on is a single text from his aunt. It's his gut feeling against all of their standard procedures.
And just when the FBI finally starts to move, to mobilize, bam, the terrorists make their point. They prove just how serious they are by detonating explosives and completely leveling the Hoffman family home. For Theo and everyone else on the scene, it looks like it's over. It looks like they were just too late.
But Theo, he just refuses to believe they're gone. He kind of goes rogue, following this trail of tiny clues. And this timeline here, it really shows you just how frantic this race is. Look at that key moment at 3:30 p.m. A secret Morse code message from Bill all the way up in the cockpit confirms the family is still alive and they're in a moving van. That piece of information changes everything. It leads Theo to a desolate beach and sets up a super dramatic rescue.
Race against time. Okay, so great news, right? The family is safe on the ground. But hold on, because this thing is far from over. With the hostages rescued, the whole focus, the whole battle, snaps right back to the sky. And up there, a new and even more immediate fight for control of the actual plane has just exploded. And here it is, the big twist. It's a total gut punch. The co-pilot, this guy Ben Miro, he's in on the whole thing. He's the terrorist's mole, right there in the cockpit. All hell breaks loose. A brutal struggle for the plane's controls erupts, and in the middle of all that chaos, Captain Hoffman is shot. And it's bad. He's critically wounded.
And this is the moment that our hero flight attendant, Joe, walks into the cockpit. And it's a total bloodbath. The co-pilot is dead, and her captain, Bill, is barely conscious. He's bleeding out, he's fading fast, and there is no way he can physically fly that plane anymore. She has to become his hands. And she just looks at him and says, "Tell me what to do."
So this is it. The two of them, a pilot who's been shot and is fading fast, and this incredibly determined flight attendant. They have to pull off an emergency landing. Bill is literally talking her through it, step by agonizing step, all while he's fighting just to stay conscious. And Joe, who has zero flight training, mind you, she has to actually do it all. Disengage autopilot, lower the landing gear. She becomes his hands and feet.
149 souls on board. That's Bill's mantra. It's what he's whispering to himself in those final, terrifying seconds before they hit the runway. You've got fighter jets scrambled, flying right alongside them. The entire world is watching this unfold live. They are literally attempting the impossible, trying to land this thing at JFK.
And the landing is just pure chaos. The plane slams down hard onto the runway. The nose gear completely collapses. The whole thing just screeches down the concrete in this huge mess of grinding metal and smoke. It's totally out of control, just barreling down the runway, until it finally comes to a stop in this battered heap. But, and this is the amazing part, miraculously, it's still in one piece.
Crash landing. So the action is over, and unbelievably, everyone survives. But the story's not really done, because the real core of this whole thing, the why behind all this terror, well, that lies in the hijacker's motivation. And it's something Carrie finds out about while she's being held hostage.
The main hijacker, Sam, he tells Carrie his story. He reveals that his entire family, every single one of them, was killed years ago in a U.S. drone strike. And he describes being sent these horrific pictures to identify the bodies. It was a tragedy that, in his mind, the world just completely ignored. Why? Because it just happened to some poor people in some poor country. And that's the final chilling revelation of the book. That impossible choice he gave Bill, it was never really the point. The whole thing, this incredibly elaborate, terrifying plot, it was all designed to do one thing: to force a disconnected world to finally look up and pay attention. To make people feel the consequences of actions that are taken half a world away.
So in the end, Falling is so much more than just a nail-biting thriller. It leaves all of us with this final, really haunting question about global empathy, about the echoes of violence, and about the real price of not paying attention. The book really asks us to think about it. When a tragedy happens worlds away, who is responsible for paying attention? What is our responsibility to the stories we hear? And maybe more importantly, to the ones we don't?